If you knew morning wood, then you know why I feel blue. Without morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Pretty, 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 pretty morning wood. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you and I need you, morning wood. I love you, morning wood.
Rise and shine. Happy Devil's Tuesday. This is the Morning Woo. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker. Undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. Yep. It's finally here. The Woo Bus One road trip to Long Island. Devils Islanders tonight. Get to see the hype of Matthew Schaefer, New York Islanders rookie, first overall pick, breaking all historical records as we speak, or about to, hopefully. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the Morning Woo. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Seeing some folks chiming in on the YouTube Live. Happy Devil's Tuesday to you, Maria. Good morning. Looking forward to tonight. Dag for Hansen says, what's the head count for the trip? I don't know, actually. I actually don't know. But I know people have signed up. That's all I do know. I can't give you an accurate head count, to be honest with you. I know that Tom's going. I know Maria's going. I know Art Heaton is going. That's all I know. And that's what I'm going to tell you. That's all I know. Pod Legend, good morning all. Metalander, happy Devil's Tuesday. Yeah, just a programming note from yesterday. We talked about Stand By Luke, all that stuff. It came to my attention. I didn't get to all the comments, and I apologize. Yesterday, it's not that I was cherry picking comments, but on my YouTube live chat screen, I have, as the broadcaster, I have a few settings to look at the chat, and by default, it's annoying. By default, it only, I think YouTube picks what it wants to see, what it wants for me to read in the live chat. And I forgot, because we had technical difficulties yesterday, that if you remember, that I forgot to put it to see all chat. So I didn't get to some of the comments, because there were other points of view, apparently, that was told to me that I didn't answer. One of them, I forgot who it was, said, well, Luke was making $9 million and all that, and it's a good reason to boo and all that. And I didn't have a problem with the booing. I just had a problem with the booing throughout the entire game. Like, boo a few times, but boo the entire game, that's usually reserved for, in my mind, that's reserved for like somebody, the opposing player, like Sean Avery back in the day, that would come into town. But just to further that point, that, look, Luke Hughes doesn't excuse it. He needs to play better. from a hockey standpoint, but also I think a lot of that frustration was misdirected. I think a lot of that frustration wasn't really towards Luke. It was more towards Fitzy. You need to do something. You dropped the ball several times, and everybody knows about the cap issues. That's on upper management. And I commend Luke Hughes for being in the locker room, accepting the heat that was going to come his way with all the reporters wanting to talk to him. Hey, he sat there like a man and answered the tough questions. I respect that. I respect that because you know what? Luke Hughes is going to grow from this. And he's going to grow very well. I liken the booing to more of tough love than hatred towards Luke Hughes. I'll give fans that booed the benefit of the doubt because I think the common goal amongst Devils fans and the players, and I would even put management here, is to win and to win cups. But the reality is, it just didn't feel right that night. But look, Luke Hughes sat there like a man, and he answered the tough questions. He took the heat. Got to commend him for that. Unlike Tom Fitzgerald, who has disappeared from the press. I haven't heard any statements. None of us have. I'd like to think he's working the phone lines and he's going to make something happen. And there was all these like internet rumors that something's going to happen. Just wait, Fitzy's going to do something. Something's going to happen. But obviously that was pre-planted by somebody. And nothing has happened yet. You still have Palat. You still have Dougie Hamilton that are taking up that much cap space. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I think a lot of that anger was misdirected towards Luke Hughes, which really should be towards upper management, and that's how I feel. But, again, I'm seeing all the comments right now and just realize doing this podcast solo, I'm not making excuses. I do my best to get to every comment. Realize that I'm producing. I'm making sure that the stream is live. Sometimes we have technical difficulties during the stream. But I'm also on air, and then I'm trying to read 15,000 comments that are going at me at once. And I haven't even looked at the comment sheet right now. But, Dubs is like, happy Devils Tuesday. Let's start a Fire Fitz chant on the bus. You know what we should do? Maybe we should do a live stream, like kind of informal, not so much a podcast, but just kind of informal live look-in on the bus. That would be kind of cool. Dubs is like, yeah. Selective woo. No, I'm not selective. I answer tough questions. I'm going to try to be like Luke Hughes and answer tough questions right now. Pod Legend, if I was in Jersey, I would have loved to join you all. Thank you, Pod Legend, referring to the Woo Bus 1 road trip. It's all planned by Danielle McCartan of WFAN. Can't wait to hang out with Danielle tonight. She's really cool. Once you guys and girls get to know Danielle, she is a really, really, she does her homework. Unlike this podcast, sometimes, we do our homework, but we kind of don't. But Danielle does her homework. She when she prepares, I'm in awe with her preparation for her radio shows, that she can go 5 hours straight just like that, or even 6 hours. I think the other overnight where they added an hour to her plate. 6 hours straight of just talking New York sports radio talk. That's not easy to do. That's not as easy to do. I don't think I could do it once, but you never know. You never know, if you have the gift of gab, you could do anything, right? So, seeing some of the other comments as well. Tom, happy Devils Tuesday to you. Tom says, first boo was perfectly fine. After that was ridiculous. Again, I'm all about the First Amendment. I'm all about free speech. I'm all about you having a different opinion. I'm one of those types where I don't care what your opinion is, as long as you back it up. And there's been so many good comments and opinions that, again, it's within my right. I chose not to boo. It was within my right to say, let's go, Luke, to combat the booing. But at the same time, it's within your right to boo and boo. I just thought that it was a little excessive. It caused Luke to be very upset. And I think we can all agree that you don't want to see your young player upset. But at the same time, I've always said friction is always good, because I think Luke Hughes can learn something out of this if he chooses to and have a great night tonight and put all this behind him. The optics don't look good because you got Billy in Minnesota that is probably just loving all this. I'm sure he knows. It was on 32 Thoughts with Elliot Friedman, thinking, what is Billy thinking about this? And that's what I fear. But I think the Hughes family can respect that. People from New Jersey, they're tough. We have high expectations. We don't take anybody's phony BS. And we're pretty vocal about it. That's who we are. And I don't think that should ever change either. Even though I oppose the excessive booing, I don't think that should ever change. I've always been a proponent of having fighting still in the game of hockey. Obviously, I would love for any kind of head injuries to be minimized, but you should never take the emotion out of this great game called ice hockey. That's my opinion. You have yours. Looking on the YouTube live right now, Dubs is like, not saying it's right or wrong, good or bad, but the kid held out for the highest AAV contract on the team, and for that, people are expecting Schaefer level play, and it's just not there right now. Well, Schaefer level, thank you, Dubs is like, Schaefer level play is historical as Cale Makar. So it almost seems like it's kind of the norm right now that the expectation is to beat Bobby Orr's records and be the next Bobby Orr, and suddenly you have two players that are exactly like that. Luke Hughes, highest paid player on the New Jersey Devils. Does that create resentment in the locker room? Just putting it out there, I'm not saying yes or no. Me being the capitalist pig I am, I want people to make money. Like, I have no problems people making money. But with a cap situation and all that and, team salaries, I could see why fans would be a little upset. And are the expectations fair? Let me ask you that. Are these high expectations fair with that high AAV $9 million a year contracts? Now, again, what's excessive, I thought, was the booing. I've been on record on this podcast about Section 15, sitting with my good friend Robin in row 4 and hearing that lady rows behind us yell $9 million every time he touches the puck. That's excessive. I don't mind her having that opinion because I think Dubs is like me, have that opinion. And that's fine, and I think that's a fair point. Joey B, good morning, Sam Wu and chat. Happy Devils Tuesday to you, Joey B. Jim Beam hat. Never seen this hat before from Sam Wu's collection. Hope you're feeling better, Sam. I'm still under the weather, but I'm bulldogging it right now. I actually almost, when I woke up this morning, I'm not going to lie to you, I almost I don't think I could go on this bus trip. I may have to call Danielle. But in true Mrs. Wu fashion, she said, get up out of bed, you lazy piece of crap. You got to go on this bus trip. Plus, you're holding me up. Get out of bed. I was like, all right. So I'm out of bed. So I have the day off today, but it's going to suck going back to work tomorrow. Because by the time I get home, it's probably going to be 1 a.m. and I'm going to be out of there by 6 a.m. So that's going to suck. But, you got to bulldog it. That's what you have to do to be a hardcore New Jersey Devils fan, And again, going back to the Luke Hughes thing, fans pay a lot of money to put butts in the seats. You pay a lot of money, and the entertainment dollar, and I hope the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment team is watching this podcast right now, because I'm sure they realize that the entertainment dollar in the New York City metro area and the Garden State, there are a lot of things to do on a Sunday. There's a ton of things to do on a Sunday. You could have went to the Giants game to root for them to tank, but they're too stupid to. You could have went there. Some people, it was the last game of the NFL seasons, for the Jets and Giants. And then there was other games out there as well. Plus there's basketball. The Knicks are doing well. The Nets, they're forever rebuild. And you had the Sixers, all that. If you're in South Jersey and you're a Devils fan, there's plenty of things to do. And plus the Eagles as well. So there's plenty of things to do on a Sunday. And it's the second half of a back-to-back. So a lot of the fans that went on Saturday now, because it's condensed scheduling, they're a little frustrated. And, of course, the optics don't look good when the puck goes off of Luke's stick. Again, I expect Luke Hughes to get out of this stronger and better than ever. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. He's got a huge incentive right now to show the fans why he's Luke Hughes and why you're paying him $9 million AAV a year. But getting back to the Jim Beam hat, the story behind the Jim Beam hat is one time, good buddy of mine in college, he knew I was a big Giants fan, and he worked for an alcohol distributor. And Kerry Collins, also former Penn Stater, was having trouble holding on to the football. He had fumbling problems. It's an inside joke, but obviously Kerry Collins also had problems with alcohol, and I don't make fun of it, but he's since been recovered alcoholic. But he used to tell me that he would hold the Jim Beam longer than a football in his hand or something like that. So he gave me this hat. So, and I'm wearing it today, Jim Beam. Anyway, let's see here. Zach Chin, welcome to the Let's Go Devils podcast. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Let's Go Devils, plus Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitch at Let's Go Devils podcast, and on X at Let's Go Devils pod, because it's 15 characters or less. But Zach says tonight feels like a must-win, if nothing else for the sake of morale. Well, yeah, I mean, you're in 2026. You had a bad loss against the Canes. That was a 4-point game. You had a good win against the Mammoth. But can you right the ship? And this is a 4-point game tonight. The Islanders have surprised everybody in the standings in the Metropolitan Division because of Matthew Shaver. They have injuries, but they've got heart. Have you seen the kind of heart that the New York Islanders have? It's a next man up mentality. We talked about it. It's actually incredible because, the Islanders weren't exactly projected to be going anywhere this year, really. Kind of a rebuilding, but they find themselves, along with everybody else in the Metropolitan Division, in the race. And with all the amount of injuries like to Palmieri and the rest, and I believe Sorokin is back, if I'm not mistaken. But with all these injuries, Matthew Schaefer's been really like the spark, the catalyst, and it just doesn't matter who is playing. It's the next man up mentality, and that's what's got the Islander fans crazy, loving the team again like they used to. It kind of re-energized the organization. Now you have this new arena, and we're going to go to the UBS Arena tonight on the Woo Bus 1 road trip when the Devils take on the New York Islanders. So it's going to be, it's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a tough game. But the Islanders, have a lot of the same injury problems as the New Jersey Devils. but they find themselves in the thick of things. Schaefer is a unicorn, says Wimpy. Happy Doubles Tuesday to you. Pod Legend said, I love that Sam. Wu has a feud going on with Billy Guerin, and Guerin has no idea, and it's fun. Yeah, it's true. Actually, look, as a player, I loved Billy Guerin, but I hated Billy Guerin. I mean, I was probably the last words he heard from fans in the crowd when he was a New Jersey Devil, because I remember when I don't know if he got thrown out of the game or towards the end of the game, and he was walking into the locker room all disheveled. I remember it's the game in the late 90s, and I had tickets at the Tunnel. And I was late to that game because if I remember correctly, who did I go to the game with? I think, I brought a hot girl from I guess middle school, when I went to middle school with her or whatever. And then she was a figure skater. Forgot her name. And then I think my buddy Josh went. I think my buddy Jeff went. I think it was 4 of us, maybe 6 of us. I forgot. But I remember my buddy Josh, going to the Meadowlands. He took the wrong route. He should have gone on to, the road splits, and somehow we're in North Caldwell. We're not on 46 trying to get to Route 3 or some. I forgot how to get there. But the bottom line is we were late to a game that we had like Gold Circle member tickets and all that. But I was next to that tunnel, and that game was Billy Guerin's last game. I believe it was against Toronto. You can look it up, his last game as a New Jersey Devil. As soon as he left, I was like, you're not worth it. You suck. Something like that. And if he's listening right now, because another kid I went to high school with, I believe was there. He had tickets too, but he didn't go to the game with us. But I believe he was there. And I know his son, which makes me feel old, actually listens to the podcast with Mark Goldberg. I believe you were there. I think you and I were the ones that yelling at Billy Guerin. And then it turned out the next day he got traded to Edmonton. That's how that story goes. But yeah, I've had this love-hate relationship with Billy Guerin. Him personally as a person, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's cool, all that kind of stuff. But as a competitor, I don't know. He was asking for too much money from Lou at the time, and he wasn't performing, Anyway. Joey B, Jack Hughes and his endorsements, Glory Juice, Hulu, and Gatorade pay for his lifestyle. His NHL salary is just savings if he's smart. Yeah, you got to go with the Gronkowski model. Save all your blood, sweat, and tears, your sweat equity money. Don't spend it. Just spend your endorsement cash. That's good, smart money management. Joey B, Sam Wu's wife saved the first annual Wu Bus one trip LFG. Mrs. Wu is a big part of this podcast that you don't see behind the scenes. I mean, she is she's very critical. She's my greatest supporter. Mrs. Wu is like, again, I'm sure Vinny Parisi will talk to the Pope, who is from Chicago, about sainthood for Mrs. Wu. She's definitely a one of a kind. Typhoid Wu. No, dysentery. Isn't that like I don't know. I'm naming old time diseases that I remember from Oregon Trail when I used to play that game on the Apple IIe in school. So don't get us all sick tonight. Well, Tom, we're going to the game together, so you may have to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. Anyway, no Wu flu for me, please. Says Tom. Gold Circle, says Wimpy. Storyline with Wu is my favorite thing. Chuck Woolery and Sam Wu on Love Connection. We'll make it back in 2 and 2. Yeah, I like Chuck Woolery, the late Chuck Woolery on Scrabble. Remember? When they had the money, like you get $500 or $1,000 and you counted $1, $2, $3, $4, $500. Imagine if we had those type of games here on the Let's Go Dolls podcast. But, we would need to get big time sponsorship for that. Apple Cider Spider Woo says, Dag for a hand said, Gato and Chill. Wimpy says, my first Devils game in person, Billy G scored his first NHL goal. Really, Wimpy? Well, congratulations to you, Wimpy. That sounds great. Gonna take a sip right now. Unsweetened iced tea in the morning. Gets you going. Every single time. Listening to all those. Let's go to the Instagram line. I got to go hopping here on social media. And she goes Sam on the Instagram live. We have folks listening in on the Instagram live. Let's go to Facebook Live. Facebook Live. I got to figure out this. What am I have to figure out? I have to figure out getting all these chats into one screen instead of bouncing around. Let's see here. Yeah, so I see Danielle McCartan is working and saying that there are last minute tickets and last minute room for the bus. You can do a la carte. If you need tickets on the bus, that's great. You can pay for that. If you need tickets for the food, you can pay for that. Or the tickets to the game, you can pay for that. It's pretty cool. Danielle McCart working online, getting this trip together. That is awesome. Oh, let's go to the Facebook Live. Sorry. Let's see here. Do we have any comments? I see myself wearing a football helmet. I don't know what's that. I got a couple comments here. Pete Canarosi. Organist Pete will be at the game. Happy Devils Tuesday to you, Pete. No, we're not broadcasting for UBS tonight. We're going to be at this restaurant that Danielle McCartan has booked. What is she doing? She, as it were, it's 90 minutes unlimited food, 90 minutes open bar. If you want to challenge me to a eating contest, you may. You may have to sign a waiver. I got to make a waiver up if you want to challenge me to a food contest. If you choke and die, I don't want to get sued. You gotta sign waivers nowadays. It sucks. Love you, Pete. I'll get back to you, Pete. Pete Canarosi, going as a fan. The organist, good friend of the podcast, Pete Canarosi, going to the game today. Glad I checked the Facebook Live. You can't ignore Pete. Pete's a good friend of the podcast. And all. Joey B says, did Sam Wu wear the red light hat on that date in 19? Hold on a sec. I can't even read anymore. I think in 1993. Well. So this is what happened. I actually told this lady last night, and not last night. When I had one of those row 4 tickets the other night, this lady sitting next to me, she was asking about my goalie. I was like, well, if you have time, I'll tell you how it happened. And she's like, yeah, maybe next time. Like, she didn't, she was making small talk, but you know me, I have a gift of gab. So basically, I was working at Radio Shack. Yes, I worked at Radio Shack when I was at Penn State. At the Nittany, was I at the Nittany Mall? I think it was the Nittany Mall. And one of the things that really pissed me off working there was all these Penn State engineering students. They were all book smart, but they didn't know how to build anything. And they always came to me. And these are like master degree, PhD, programs that they're in. And they're asking me all these questions, basic questions about components they need to build like whatever freaking science project. And here I am, a finance economics major that's trying to make some money, while I'm in school, working at Radio Shack out of all places, because hockey is expensive. Like I had to pay for my own stuff, my parents subsidized a lot of it, but I still had to pay for stuff. But I had a part-time job working at Radio Shack, and one day a guy came in, and he was, I don't know, he worked for some first responder company, and he wanted to buy something, but he's like, dude, I need it now, but that's a ripoff. Radio Shack, some of the things are just expensive. So we got talking, and I was like, what do you do? What's this for? And he said, I work for a first responder company. I was like, all right, this is what I could do for you. You want to barter? He's like, sure. I was like, I'll buy this thing that you want that thinks it's a ripoff. Obviously, I'll use my employee discount. But do you have one of those red lights that go on top of the car? Because I didn't want to buy like a cheesy red light. I wanted something that will stand out, that will be durable over time. And he's like, yeah, but I believe they're only sold to certain people, those red lights, the ones I wanted. So we did a little barter. I bought the thing he wanted, and I got that red goal light. And that's how I got the red light. And then also the helmet, I got it on fogdog.com, I think, back in the day. And we're talking about year 2000, I think. 1999, year 2000. Well, Fogdog, in their infinite wisdom, sent me 2 helmets instead of 1. And, of course, me, the thief I am, I'm like, I'm not going to tell them. So I took that one good CCM helmet that I had, and I made a base for it so I could put that red light that's meant for emergency responders and screwed it on and bolted it on to the goal light helmet. And then in Radio Shack, there's a lot of RC car batteries, so I switched. I was able to, because these are 12-volt lights, and I was able to kick it down to 9.6 volt. I think I put a 9.6 volt light in there, and I changed the voltage, and I used a 9.6 volt RC car battery because it's rechargeable. And the only thing that's changed since the year 2000 was that, when Radio Shack went out of business and they were having fire sale, I think I bought 5 of those RC car batteries because I knew in the future I would need them. And I still have it, and it's, rechargeable and all that. So that is how that gold light helmet came about. I've been wearing it ever since. And then I had that male Karen, who I have a picture of, by the way. Didn't realize I actually accidentally have a snapshot of the male Karen that pretty much told me I didn't belong in the club seats. Whatever he meant by that. I don't know. Maybe I should print out his image on urinal cakes and put it in the club bathrooms because of that guy. Anyway, that's how that gold light helmet came about. Should I wear that gold light helmet tonight on Long Island? I don't know if Danielle McCartan is going to, I don't know. She's going to say, Sam, you're a handful. It's going to draw a lot of attention. I mean, I brought it to Madison Square Garden a couple times, and there are people that actually wait out in the hallway to try to beat you up. But Long Island, they're kind of like our, black sheep cousins across the river. We both hate the Rangers, so who cares? Maybe I should bring some Ranger suck confetti. Maria, you got your first cell phone at Radio Shack? Did I ever tell you this story, Maria? Have you ever heard the story? How I was the #1 cell phone salesman in the state of Pennsylvania of all the Radio Shacks in that district? Did I ever tell you that? Yeah, there was 2 things I was #1 in. And I was only a part-time employee. Getting your phone number and addresses? Not really. I found a loophole in the system. Because back in the day, when somebody would come in and and purchase something. Can I have your name and phone number, please, or whatever? And we would send those stupid flyers to you. Half of the people said no. So you know what I did? I put the corporate address and the corporate phone number in the slot, so it would count as that I got their address. So I had like over 90%, like 95% rate of getting names and addresses and phone numbers in Radio Shack. But I was the number one cell phone seller because I found a loophole. Back in those days, teenagers want cell phones, but you have to be 18 or older to get one. Except for track phones, those prepaid phones. I sold practically in State College, I probably sold not billions. I sold a lot of prepaid track phones to teeny boppers. And I put them on the Tandy 2-year extended warranty plan on top of it. So that's how I was able to make like $13 an hour with commissions. And I think they call them spiffs back then. But man, every teenager, I was like the guy that set them up with cell phones that they didn't need. They were all Nokia phones. And brought back memories, Maria, when you just told me that you bought cell phone at Radio Shack. The Sanyos SCP-1400. Yeah. Cell phone sales struck. Yeah, I mean, boy, did I sell a lot of cell phones. And I remember I was saying, well, you get a free battery under this warranty plan. These batteries, these nickel metal hydride batteries, they don't really last. That was before lithium ion batteries. Woo cheat codes. So radio scam, says Wimpy. Wimpy, you remember me with the gold light helmet in the parking lot, don't you? Anyway. Someone needs to mark down this segment. The story behind the gold light lamp is worthy in Devil's Folklore. Yeah, you could find it. I sat in section 226 during the playoffs of 2001. If you go back to the games, especially games 3 and 4, I think it's game 4, all these games against the Colorado Avalanche, when the Devils scored, we had a camera behind us, the ESPN camera. ESPN ABC camera, and I have that. And also, if you go to the 2001 Stanley Cup video, the Colorado Avalanche, unfortunately, I spent years trying to get on the Devil Stanley Cup video, but I get on the freaking Colorado Avalanche one. I wasn't in 2000 or 2003, just barely missed it when they were filming. But, yeah, you can see me in the gold light helmet there. You would see a young Sam Wu, a lot skinnier too, but with the same appetite. Yeah, Radio Shack, fancy radio alarm. Yeah, I mean, I used to. Oh, dag for Hanson. I still have my big stick and realistic bass TRC 465. Did you have the Navajo antenna or Navajo radio? Yeah, I was big into CBs and scanners, especially during the 46, 49 megahertz days where I used to have my friends pile in. When they found out I had a scanner and you can listen to people's phone calls in the dorms. Yeah, we found out a lot of dirt on people then. You couldn't mess with us, and they couldn't figure out. Our inside jokes because we knew everything about them. Yeah, the Navajo. Yeah, I used to have a Wilson 2000 antenna with my CB radio. I didn't buy. What did I buy? I think I bought a Cobra 148 CB. Again, this is before internet relay chat. This is before chat rooms. We had CB radios. That's what we used to do. God, I feel like a geek. Oh, anyway. Seeing some Pod Legend. Sam, I have old photos. I think we took a picture together with a gold light helmet. Pod Legend. I'm sure we have. I remember my mother finding a lot of these photos, but there were a lot of like drunken photos in the parking lot. And she's like, I think these are yours, when they were selling their house. And all my like old stuff was in the basement. And she's like going through them. And, there's a lot of pictures. Oh. Plus, and I talked to Dubzilla about this. this would take some time. It would be comedy gold, but I've got VHS tapes and DVDs of what went on in that parking lot back in the Meadowlands. That's like going through a time capsule. Wow. If I could find that and digitize that and bring it to the podcast for the off season, you'll have enough comedy gold to last you for like 20 years. It was that good. Yeah, it was that good. All right. Well, wow. 40 minutes of the morning woo. It's about 11 a.m. Eastern. I can't wait for this Woo Bus 1 road trip. By the way, I was just texting Matt Loughlin. Congratulations to Matt Loughlin, the voice of the New Jersey Devils. You know what happened to Matt Loughlin? He just was nominated. Well, not nominated. He won a prestigious award in broadcasting. And I'll read it here. On Monday, the National Sports Media Association named Devils Hockey Network radio play-by-play announcer Matt Loughlin as recipient of the 2025 New Jersey Sportscaster of the Year. I am honored and humbled to be recognized by my peers, Loughlin said. It's an incredible privilege to be the voice of the Devils on the Devils Hockey Network and work alongside the good friend of the podcast, Chico Rush. He didn't say good friend of the podcast. I just added that in there. Thanks to the fans for their support, and a special thanks to the entire Devils organization for giving me the opportunity to sit in the booth. Congratulations to you, Matt Loughlin. Good friend of the podcast alongside Chico Rush. Just amazing. Matt's come a long way, because when he first got the gig, he had some big shoes to fill. But he definitely found his way. He created his own path, and that's very remarkable. Matt Loughlin, good friend of the podcast, Devils Hockey Network, and the voice of the New Jersey Devils. All right, well, going to salute you, the fans. Last second, you can get on this bus trip. Go on the website. The website is... hold on. What's the website? EmpireTeamTravel.org. Look it up. Sign up. Last second. The bus leaves at 4 p.m. from Secaucus. So just a reminder, don't be late. Tom, don't be late. I don't like it when people are late. I'll probably be the one being late. But don't be late, Tom. We're carpooling. And then, yeah, maybe I'll have some surprises on this bus trip. We'll do some live stuff. Then we'll do Game Day Live from the restaurant. And then we're going to do Devils After Dark on the moving bus. We'll prepare for that. Thank you. Happy Woo Bus 1 day, says Mike Rosenswag. Berkeley Kev says Islanders will win. Probably. And, I'll see you on the Woo Bus 1 road trip. Thank you to all. And, let's get out of here. Let's pull the plug. I'm not feeling well. I'm actually not feeling well. My head's not feeling well. Well, I want to thank you, the fans, for tuning in on this mid-morning morning woo. I got a headache. Dag for Hansen says, I demand a woo weigh-in before open food bar and after. Fat chance of that happening, no pun intended. But I want to salute you, the Devils fans, with a ceremonial sip. This is going to be a fun day today. Thank you. Till next time, this is the Morning Woo. Let's go, Devils.
I love you, yes, I love you. Morning Woo. Morning